Hello, you sexy people. How y'all doing today? We're back again with another video. This is extremely disturbing facts that you wish you didn't know by AskReddit or on. Hey, y'all know what I mean. Let's go. Let's see stuff we don't want to know.
This content may be upsetting or Warning: this content may be upsetting or disturbing to some audiences. Humanity is constantly on the edge of being wiped out.
Kinda true.
What's a horrifying fact a person could have lived happily not knowing?
Let's go.
You are about 120 times more likely to be killed by an immediate family member if you win the lottery.
That's why you got no family,
If you die
bro.
in the house
Perfect
and no
plan.
one is around to feed your pets, they start with your squishy parts,
I know
lip
that.
size, ears and nose. This happened with an old lady. However, she wasn't dead, just paralyzed.
Oh.
When you pick up a
Oh. Did she serve?
severed head,
Never mind.
always be sure to use two hands. This is because the weight of said head isn't perfectly distributed like it is with a bowling ball. It is therefore has a tendency to topple from one's hands if not handled correctly.
Bro, I'm pretty sure that's 99.99999 of the population don't need to know that. Who picks up heads?
When you go swimming in a lake or any untreated body of fresh water that does not have steady water flow, there is a small chance you will inhale an amoeba that will subsequently eat your brain. And you will almost certainly die within the week. Having a singular microscopic
What brain though? It's gonna starve in me, boy.
organism slowly eat away at your brain over the course of several days, all the while you know there is nothing that can be done to stop it, is surely more horrifying than
you can't
inhaling
do
a bit of
anything?
water for a few minutes, wouldn't you think?
They can't
When
do anything.
tarsiers, one of the smallest primates, get too stressed, they commit suicide by repeatedly banging their head against a tree. Dogs like squeaky toys because they mimic the dying cries of their prey. I've told this to so many people and all of them get really mad for some reason.
Why you get mad?
At least when my dog is done killing his toys, he tries to lick them back to health so they will squeak again.
Wait, why did they?
If you're exposed to rabies,
Why would people get mad? It's the same as when cats bring you dead animals and shit. It's cause they see you as, you know, part of the family, so they bring you food.
you will have absolutely no symptoms for months, potentially. As soon as you start showing symptoms, you are going to die. There is nothing that can be done for you. Go to the ER if you are bitten by any wild animal that can potentially carry it. Rabies is very nearly the worst way to go, and that's considering dying of starvation, fire, drowning, or jumping from an airplane. You go into delirium and a deep fear of water, and slowly die of lack of water as the virus bursts into your brain. Best case scenario, Milwaukee procedure, you end up brain dead.
Already brain
I
dead,
would personally shoot myself if I was diagnosed with it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure the chance of you actually getting rabies is like extremely low. So
There's no certainty that the
still you
universe
should
will
check
not
it
end in
out.
the next 10 seconds. Male otters are extremely sexually violent and aggressive. A significant number of female otters, otter pups, and baby seals, yes, baby seals, die from the trauma caused by, often forced, sexual encounters with male otters. Causes of death include, but are not limited to, drowning,
do we
internal
really need to
perforation,
know that
and
much
biting.
information?
A full-grown
Drowning?
raccoon can fit inside your butt. It can fit in a hole 4 inches wide and your butthole can spread up to 9 inches. It's basic math. You could have an
No, there's nothing basic about that fucking math, brother.
aneurysm in your
Stop.
brain right now waiting to explode and you'd never know. Your aorta can do the same thing if it's enlarged. In 90% plus of cases, the first sign of an enlarged aorta is that it ruptures and you die almost
Oh,
immediately.
that's the first sign. What's the second sign?
Hundreds
I'm
of
dead.
toddlers in the US die
I'm
every
dead.
year from falling into septic pits and drowning. When I was 5, we used to go over to my
It's a septic pit.
mom's friend's house and they were these massive rednecks in this old house where the septic was broken, would run across the yard like a small creek between these two cement things with holes in the top. Anyway, her oldest daughter was about 8 and dropped her homework paper in it. I reached to grab it and fell right in. I have full memory of it. The hosing off and everything. Due to how your perception of time changes as you age, assuming you live a long life and for of old age, you've lived half your perceived lifespan by age 25.
Ooh,
I think it's because of how we see time in relation to our total life. Like at 15, 1 year is 6.7% of your life, compared to 80 where 1 year is only 1.25%. The older you get, the smaller the percentage a year goes. This is why the years go faster as you age. So I'm guessing after a certain point everything muddled together. Just a hypothesis though.
Oh, don't you? Hey, you can't
A
be.
shark's
Hey,
vag-
you can't be saying shit like that and just go. It's just a hypothesis, though. Hey, you fuck. Just a hypothesis, though.
AJ
No,
and butt are the
stop,
same
bro.
hole. Male sharks have 2 penises. One of them is used to secure the female in place. This was told to me by a relative that works as a
Technically true. They can't choke a bitch, so.
funeral director.
Sorry,
Some parts of your body might start decaying a few days before you die.
but not be the
Someone
dongas.
replied, I can definitely confirm. I am a hospice nurse and I also did end-of-life care with geriatric patients for many years. You always recognize the smell and it never changes.
Bro, some
Statistically
jobs out
speaking,
there.
somebody you know personally and
people do
interact
them.
with on a daily basis is a pedophile. Any woman who has been 11 years old knows this to be true.
What?
Guys ain't safe
Statistically speaking, somebody you know personally interact with on a daily basis.
either, to be honest. I once had a high schooler want to show me wrestling moves because I was about 12 and into wrestling as a school sport. Looking back, he was actually trying to cop a feel. I think it's just still a lot more taboo to admit such things as a guy than it is as a girl nowadays.
Well, he might
There
have
are
just
some
been
diseases
really into
caused by
wrestling.
prions, a type of infectious protein, for which there is no known cure.
Prions.
Prions accumulate in your brain and damage your nerve cells irreversibly, leading to seizures, loss of memory and speech, blindness, changes in personality and loss of mobility. They kill off brain cells and create literal holes in your brain. Once symptoms start showing, most people die within a year. Some people are believed to have been infected by eating infected meat.
Hey, bro, when you show us these dangerous ass, extremely rare disease, can we get at least get the percentage chance if you catch one of these? I swear it's probably in like 1 in a billion. So it's not as scary as it sounds.
There could be a gamma ray burst coming for us and
can
we
get hit
wouldn't
by
know
a
until we
car.
all got literally
Okay.
obliterated from existence. Also, the universe is
It's
so
gotta be quick
large
at
that
least,
not
so
a
it's
single
okay.
thing that anyone does will matter, not a thing.
True. So have fun.
At all
Stop being
times,
depressed.
we
and
could
shit.
be surrounded by fourth-dimensional beings. But we just can't see or detect them in any way because
Hey, if we are, those motherfuckers are watching me masturbate a lot. Fuck those guys.
we live in a third dimension. They could be observing and studying us at this very moment. And perhaps
That
the
is
reason
dick.
why we haven't found any
Sorry.
aliens yet is because they are
I
fourth
think I know
dimensional
why
beings.
we don't find them. They don't want.
Because of the
I
cellular
know.
makeup of our eyes, we see better in low contrast light in the periphery of our vision.
Well,
The way the cells work means they have a much lower activation, so in the dark or between very minute monochromatic differences you will see better out of the corner of your eye than your central vision, which is more geared to complexity and color. So with that in mind,
Okay.
theoretically, if there was something you could make out in the corner of your eye but not visible when you look directly at it, it could really be there. When a brown recluse spider bites you, your skin, it could really be there.
Okay, wait a goddamn. If you can make out in the corner of your eye but not visible, then you look it directly, it could really be there.
You could make out in the corner of your eye but not visible when you look directly at it.
Okay.
It could really be there.
How's that scary?
When a brown recluse spider bites you, your skin will often start to
Australia?
rot around the bite.
It's Australia?
This is only in very rare cases and often with immunocompromised patients. Also, many pictures you see online are actually staph infections. The side effect of most bites is simply a hard welt that doesn't appear to heal well for weeks where the skin necrotized. Anything worse and you can go get a shot from the walk-in to cure it. Most people in the southern US have been bitten
US.
by a brown recluse at least once and don't even
I
know
don't
it.
think I've ever been bitten by a spider.
There is a very high chance aliens could be far more technologically advanced than us and we would be facing extinction if they found us.
Maybe
And
they got
yet,
sex
we are
bots.
trying to find them. If aliens are watching us, they are seeing us in however many light years away they are in the past. If they are 65 million light years away, they are looking at dinosaurs.
True.
Squirrels sometimes feed off of animal carcasses.
True, but not true, because technically if they're way more advanced than us, maybe they have technology we cannot even comprehend, right? So maybe they are looking at us jack off and being like, yo, those guys are weird as hell, I don't want to go there, brother.
Most animals will eat other animals. You
True.
can find videos of herbivores eating meat all over the internet. Like the video of a cow just swooping a baby chick on a single swoop.
Crunchy.
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
If someone falls from a building tall enough, then when they hit the ground their bones will crack and break under their weight, and their organs will explode. I think their guts will also come out of their mouth and anus as well. That firefighter documentary that accidentally captured the only footage of the first plane hit on
What?
September 11th mentioned this. There's a moment when they're on the ground floor of one of the towers before it collapsed, and you can hear these incredibly loud bangs. The sound was coming from jumpers hitting the concrete. Sounded like gunshots. Horrible.
Oh, that actually sounds
There is a
awful.
small parasitic fish called the kandira that can swim up your penis and latch on to eat it from the inside. It lives in the Amazon.
Okay,
Some
that's
animals, notably Tasmanian
another place I'm never going to. Fuck the
devils,
Amazon.
have a cancer that can
Y'all
spread
got
between the
dick
species
fish
through bodily
eaters.
fluid
Fish
contact.
dick
Imagine that in humans. Diamond dust is a horrifying poison. When ingested,
Diamond
your body
dust.
is unable to round off the sharp edges like it can with glass. It will cling to your insides, the muscle movements of your guts will scrape your insides, the dust particles will get pushed deeper and deeper until you die of internal bleeding. It takes months to die of this and you will be in immense pain. Once inside of you there's nothing that can be done anymore.
Amazon?
When a Brazilian wandering spider bites a male, it can deliver long, painful erections lasting hours on end. They're deadly, but yes, this can happen before death. From what I know,
What if it bites a female? They got like a hard clitoris?
it's
sorry,
less of an erection,
something's wrong with me
and more
today.
of your
I'm
penis swelling with
apologize.
painful pressure like a boil, as the hemotoxic effects cause a massive spike in blood flow. But I mean, if you're into biochemical pee and ball torture, you do boo. There is a biological weapon that consists in a virus that, if released, would utterly kill the entire human population. And presumably a ridiculously
Like
high
50 million
percentage of all
vials.
the living things on Earth. This massacre is just a slight mistake away from happening.
True shit.
Romberg's disease
Extinction,
can cause
yeah.
all tissues of half your face to spontaneously shrink. This includes
What?
bone.
Wait,
Chick culling
what?
spontaneously shrink. This includes bone. Chick culling is the process of killing newly hatched chicks for which the intensive animal farming industry has no use. It occurs in all industrialized egg production, whether free range, organic, or battery cage, including that of the UK and US. Because male chickens do not lay eggs, and only those on breeding programs are required to fertilize eggs, they are considered redundant to the egg-laying industries and are usually killed shortly after being sexed, which occurs after they hatch. Many methods of culling do not involve anesthetics and include cervical dislocation, asphyxiation by carbon dioxide and maceration using a high-speed grinder. Asphyxiation is the primary method in the United Kingdom, while maceration is the primary method in the United States. By 2020, U.S. producers expect to sex the eggs before they hatch, so male eggs can be culled.
I mean, I'm finding it hard to feel too bad about this. We had chickens when I was growing up. When I used to go to one of my villages with grandma, and she would just chop the head off, and that thing would run around a little bit. So I think I'm
the world,
desensitized
meaning
to
that there are people who you won't even know exist.
True.
They will live their own independent lives without ever seeing or hearing about you, and you will live without
True.
ever knowing of their existence.
Why is that?
In the 60s there was an experiment to attempt to teach
Why is that disturbing though?
dolphins to comprehend English. Even going as far as to attempt to teach it to speak English itself.
Let's say kill me.
The experiment went south when one of the people working on the experiment, Margaret Howell of Odd, started having sex with a dolphin named Peter, something she claims the dolphin initiated.
What
At
did
the
people
same time
say?
of this, one of the other people involved, neurologist John C. Lilly, was given the go-ahead to start experimenting with LSD, and so decided to also use LSD on the dolphin. Due to a gigantic cut in funding,
Still Peter? Are we still talking about Peter?
they were forced to move, and the dolphin was kept in horrible conditions, and taken away from his trainer buddy Margaret and so committed suicide by drowning itself.
The dolphin drowned itself.
Humanity is constantly on the
Damn,
edge of being
60s
wiped
were
out.
wild.
Whether it be from nukes or from the Yellowstone supervolcano. It could happen at any moment and there'd be nothing anybody can do about it.
So why worry about it?
When a
Why are you worrying
Komodo
about
dragon bites you, it sends a complex jolt of venom and extremely nasty bacteria under your skin. They don't even own toothbrushes in most cases. These guys can't move very fast, but they don't have to, because after you bail out to get away from the giant lizard, your own adrenaline sends the toxins racing through your veins, and in a few hours you will be twitching your last, sicker than you ever believed possible. The Komodo dragon casually follows your tracks in the sand and gulps you down like a Pop-Tart while you watch helplessly. You're welcome.
That's not that scary.
Japanese giant hornets exist.
There ain't no Komodo dragons where I live, okay?
They have 6-centimeter wingspans and prey on honeybees. They can kill up to 40 bees per minute, and the feed on the larvae once all the adult bees are dead.
Damn.
Oh, and their venom is potent enough that 10 stings is serious enough to require hospitalization, and the stings can literally melt your flesh in the area around the injury,
Who gets
creating
stung by a
hole.
bee 10 times?
It's obviously extremely painful.
What?
The fact that the government has pre-recorded broadcasts in cases of emergencies, including what to do if aliens attack.
Why is that Why is that I swear some of these are stupid. Why is that disturbing? Of course they do, because if there is an emergency, they don't have time to record it. What? What?
At least, the act of eating human flesh
I
itself
know I'm
is
dumb,
illegal.
but come on, bruh.
The illegal part comes in the harvesting of human flesh. However, if your victim is willing, is alive at the time you carve from them, and is alive after, then that arm or whatever you took off is fair game to eat.
What?
And it's not illegal. And
Wow,
there's a
what?
story of a guy who lost a foot and then made tacos out of the meat. I'm not linking it. You're able to bite off your own fingers just like carrots. There's an instinctive response in your brain to refrain from biting it off if you try this. So even though your fingers
Why
are
would you try
similar to
this?
carrots
Stop.
in that manner, it's much harder for you to tell yourself to bite your fingers off. The cause of death from crucifixion is actually suffocation, not blood loss. The nails would not go through the hands as depicted with Jesus, but between the bones in the forearm near the wrist, where the bone has a gap. Then one nail was used through both heels of the feet so that the person's legs were slightly bent off to one side. This puts all of their weight on their diaphragm. The only way to relieve the weight and breathe is to stand on the nailed feet. They can survive a couple days before their legs get too exhausted to stand.
Oh.
If the people crucifying him or want him to die quicker, they would break their knees so they couldn't stand. Serial
Oh, shit. Well, that sounds goddamn awful, bro. I wonder how long it took. It probably took a long time to die from that.
Killer Joe Matheny owned a food stand and sold burgers that combined animal meat with the flesh of his victims to unsuspecting customers. A horror movie called The Bay is about a parasite that takes over the body of humans. It is very loosely based on an actual parasite that severs the blood vessels of fish's tongues, causing the tongue to fall out, and it attaches itself to the stub, becoming the fish's new tongue. The pictures are pretty disturbing. The entire Fermi paradox. Basically it states that there is some reason why we haven't contacted or been contacted by alien life. A few of my favorite hypotheses are all intelligent life seeks to destroy others, everyone is listening but no one is transmitting, Earth is being deliberately left alone, just to observe us in our natural habitat. Then of course there is the great filter which says that something out there is killing off civilizations before they are advanced enough for interstellar communication. When decapitated, you are still alive for about 3 more seconds before dying.
3 more seconds.
That one day all the stars in the universe will
I finished faster.
exhaust all their fuel, leaving the entire universe cold and dark forever. When someone is partly crushed by something extremely heavy, like if a giant beam fell on the lower torso of a person, that person won't die. The heavy weight cuts off the circulation, causing only a few ounces of blood to seep out. However, once the weight is removed, the person dies almost instantly. All the blood gushes out like a popped red water balloon.
But is there a way to save them like that? I know that people say that if you get stabbed by anything, you should never take out the object, but is there a way if you get crushed, they just fucked?
Alive, if treated for pain or blood loss, will die of hypothermia because skin is a big part of regulating body temperature. Hisashi Ouchi received the highest dose of radiation ever observed in a human. He went through horrible effects of radiation poisoning, some of which had never been observed. Internal organs shutting down, white blood cell count near zero, complete elimination of his DNA.
Wait, what?
Perhaps the most disturbing effect was that his skin began to peel and rot. The doctors tried to perform skin grafts, but due to fluids leaking from his pores, the grafts wouldn't take.
Oh.
On day 59 of his treatment, his heart stopped.
50 nah, brother. Day 2 you can end me. Nah. Hour 1 you can end me.
3 times in 49 minutes,
that's
causing
enough.
severe damage to his brain and kidneys. He requested many times to be allowed to die, and said he didn't want to be a guinea pig anymore.
They didn't?
He was kept alive for 83 days, partly due to his family's request, partly due to the opportunity to research radiation poisoning. In his final days, he was described as a rotting corpse with a beating heart. It's very rare.
Bro, his family hated his. I can't even make joke. That is sad as hell, bro. That is sad as hell.
but sometimes it's possible for a woman's body to
Y'all
absorb
are
an
evil.
ectopic pregnancy. The body calcifies the fetus to prevent it from decomposition, and it eventually turns to stone and is not usually discovered until many years later. This is known as a lithopedion or stone baby.
Rare mineral.
Also, there's a phenomenon called post-mortem fetal extrusion, aka coffin birth. This sometimes occurs when a pregnant woman is buried. The buildup of gases in her body during decomposition can push the fetus out of the vagina after burial. Obviously, this is nearly impossible nowadays with modern medicine.
This is with guts. It happened in Berserk.
And post-mortem
I think,
examinations,
right?
but this was
Kinda?
much more common over 100 years ago.
Yeah, a lot. Hey, listen, a lot of people nowadays are like, oh, we have so much sadness, so much fucked up shit happening. Hey, bro, if you were born 100 years ago and you had the knowledge of what would happen in 100 years, you would commit, self-die. Hey, shit was awful back then. 200 years ago, even worse. We're living in pretty happy times, comparatively. Right, that's a word I'm pretty sure I can
Pool
use.
drains are literally powerful enough to suck your organs out of your body.
Oh.
It's one of the grisliest way people have been killed.
No, that's
Thanks for listening to Radio TTS.
Hey, bro,
Hit the subscribe button and
Okay, I'm already subscribed, bro. That's a fucked up shit, bro. Jesus Christ, that was awful. There was some awful things. I was not expecting to be amazed this much by awfulness. Hope y'all. I don't really hope y'all enjoyed this too much, because that would be fucking weird. Hey, y'all not that weird, right? And if you want to see more videos, I check out playlist right here. Quick thank you to YouTubers and Patreons, and have a nice day, everybody. Bye.